Welcome everybody to the webinar of the new features of 20R4, 4020R4. We are delighted to welcome you today for this exciting session. Please feel free to share a little bit of housekeeping. Well, I guess first, who is talking right now? So my name is William Taylor. I'm the technical account manager at 4D in the US, and with me is Komoncharoensiri, the Director of Technical Services also in 4D US. And we like to do this every 3 months whenever there's a new feature release of 4D that comes out, for us to be able to take the time, review everything, and to kind of share the highlights of the feature release with the developer community. So welcome you all. As normal, we break it up into we break the webinar up into a few subsections. We have things that concern developers, developer editions, 4D View Pro, 4D Write Pro, and since the summit, we've added kind of quick brief update on what's going on with Qodly Studio for 4D. So at the end of each section, there will be a Q&A section. So we'll try to field all of your questions then. So let's get started on the features that probably concern y'all the most, the new features for developer. And I'd like to start off with something that's really exciting in the 4D language. This has been a hot topic on the feature request forum, and with many people voting for it. It was the top for a long time, and it's error handling with try. So let's take 2 steps back and talk about error management itself. So error management has been managed in 4D since time immemorial with the use of the on error call command. So this has been updated recently itself, but now we have a new way for you to manage error handling that looks more like your object-oriented programming languages that you know and love, C++, Java, and also the languages that your new hires have learned in school. And that's using try and throw. Take this code right here. Here we have a defensive code for when you're using files in your file system, right? So you never know if the file exists. You open it, you read it, the handle works. So you want to make sure you have defensive programming around your anytime you call into anytime you use things in your files in your file system. And it's pretty long. And if you're coming from another programming language, that's the way we do it in 4D. That's great. It works, but it may be a little strange. But now, here we have a little bit simpler version of this code using the try function, try method. So now is what you have is with the file. So here what we're doing is we're trying to open the file path, and we're checking the file handle to make sure it's not null, and then we're trying to open and we're trying to read the file. So just to make sure that everything is good. So very cool, modern way, really slick way of doing try, using try to really simplify your code. And this doesn't just work with the file commands. You can also add the keyword throw to your methods when you want to throw an error. So you throw and you try and you throw. And if this piques your interest, you have a look at the blog and the documentation to see how this can help you write safer code. Now, you may be thinking, okay, what's missing right here, right? Well, we weren't ready for the feature, and it's going to be coming in 20R5, and that's the catch feature. So, so this feature opens up the possibilities for error handling, but it's not finished yet. So we will be providing a 20R5 multi-line try and catch blocks. So I'll see you next webinar so we can discuss the continuous evolution of error handling in 4D. Now, as I mentioned in previous webinars, and the code editor is and remains a central element to the 4D development environment. And today we're introducing the Code Live Checker. Now, this is an algorithm used during compilation, syntax checking, and when you're typing code in the editor. Now, the code live checker now helps prevent errors such as typos and logic errors real time while you're coding. It also provides you with new warnings if your code is inconsistent and generates errors if your code could cause runtime errors. So what is this code live checker? Well, the code live checker is in the 40 code editor, and it's automatically triggered after 1 second when typing in a method or when saving in a class. Now, there's a lot more errors that have been added into your with the code live checker, and we'll just do a quick rundown of all of them right now. So, so as you can see here, an error is now generated if the name of a class is not used in the data store, CS, class store, or 40 class libraries. Now, this helps you avoid typos, especially ones related to case, right? Camel case versus all caps. Who knows? But so you see, you don't know that one. The next is class functions are being checked now. The code live checker checks several elements here. For example, a warning is displayed if a parameter declaration is made outside of a function prototype. See, shouldn't be using the $2. You should be using that from within the function prototype. Or if a non-existent class function is called. So we have an instance, we have a class, and then we have something, the unknown function, right? Aptly named, we don't know it. It doesn't exist. Says, hey, this doesn't exist, and it'll check your code while you're typing. And if the number of parameters used exceeds the number declared in the prototype, a warning is also displayed. So one parameter, the function one parameter probably takes one parameter, but here we're passing in two, so you have the one parameter, so you have too many parameters, the error, which is really cool. What else? We have type compatibility now. A type check is now performed in several cases. An error is displayed when assigning variables with incompatible types. This also applies to class properties, data class attributes, and data class computed attributes. So you see here we're trying to assign integers to texts and vice versa, and you have hard errors while you're typing your code, and it lets you know exactly what's wrong. Next, there's a warning displayed when parameter types are not compatible with a calling class function. So you see we're calling that class function one parameter, and I guess it expects in its method signature expects a text, but you're actually passing an integer. So it complains, it says, hey, unable to cast that. You should probably pass the right thing, cast it yourself, etc. So very interesting way. And last but not least, ORDA data classes. So the use of unknown data classes or non-existent data class attributes now also generates an error. This helps to avoid input errors that can lead to future runtime errors. So it didn't know what that field was, unknown field. And another way this can be helpful is to add live checking to your component classes themselves. This is as simple as clicking a button in your component properties. And once this is clicked, you can develop with your component classes with confidence and ease. Now, I think this is a great improvement, and it'll help people write better code and faster. So, and I think it will be also received by you, the developer, as well. Now, sticking to the code topic, until recently, if you're running your application with all variables typed activated, there was a compiler method that was created. Now in 2004, the compiler method is a thing of the past. Parameters declared in a declare method prototype are no longer require a redundant declaration in the compiler underscore method. This update in 4020R4 ensures that existing code is not affected. So backwards compatibility is 4D's mantra, and we're continuing that path. We're continuing that. But we're also helping you to increase code safety by issuing warnings for mismatching parameters. Now, this improvement aims to save time and improve code quality by avoiding runtime errors before they can even be runtime errors at compilation time. Now, a feature that is really cool, I think, and will greatly improve your application and simplify your development. We have custom date and time formats. Let's start with dates. Here we have a string object. And now you can display your date in a variety of exciting ways with the addition of new patterns. So here we have a date, 2024 and 9, so it's September 1st, 2024. If we pass in the pattern it says Sunday. So we can easily get the day of the week from there. Pass in a Y, get the year, classic. LLLL, you get September. That's cool. You get your localized month. Day of the month, D, that's pretty good. And you can now combine this all together with text. So you can have something that looks like today is Sunday, September 1st, 2024, for example. That's a really cool thing for you to be able to use on your application. Really simple pattern usage mixed with text. So that's a great addition. And you can also add this custom pattern to a date object on the form property list, or you can add it programmatically using the object set format command. Now we have made similar changes to the date, to the time formats as well. So these are pretty cool. So here we have a string with a time and the pattern A, and that tells you AM or PM. We also have more interesting things. If you add B, it'll give you a flexible day period in the afternoon, in the morning. You see this sometimes on a CRM, for example. It'll say best time to call someone, and it'll give a human readable screen in the afternoon. So that could be a really interesting thing to use in your application for free. It give you the hour in the 1 to 12 format, right? If you don't like to see the military format. The minute, classic. And time zones, specific non-location. So that'll get your localized time zone. And in a similar way to the date format, you can add text and patterns together, and you can have a really cool, a really good human readable message, meeting time at 1:45 PDT. Now, you can add, in a similar way, you can add the custom pattern to your time object in the property list, or you can set it programmatically using the object set format command. Now, let's talk about security. Previously, 4D Server included standard SSL TLS certificates to secure exchanges and make testing easier. However, these have been removed in 20R4. Actually, they haven't just been removed. We've actually enhanced the feature. So when 4D Server opens an application requiring encrypted client server connections, it automatically generates a temporary SSL and TLS certificate if no user provided certificate is present in the resource folder. Now, the benefits of this approach are significant simplification of server provisioning, right? You don't have to worry about it anymore. Enhanced security. Some people, if you leave in that sample, if you were to leave in that sample certificate, it wouldn't necessarily be safe because it's a known certificate and it can be, it's just a known certificate. So using a new certificate upon each server restart reduces risk associated with a compromised certificate. But there's one thing to note that I want to make sure that's clear. This is for encrypted client-server communication, and not encryption for HTTPS for web servers. To do that, you will need that requires a certificate issued by a certification authority to be accepted by modern browsers. Therefore, temporary certificates are not valid in this context. And we believe this feature will streamline the implementation of your applications and also greatly enhance their security. And in more security news, as mentioned earlier, 40 uses SSL TLS protocol to secure client-server communications with HTTP requests. Now, for over a decade, 40 has supported RSA, and the current managed default SSL TLS certificates that are generated by on every restart are RSA or RSA certificates. And this is a proven encryption algorithm. But that's not all. We now offer support for ECDSA, elliptic curve digital signature algorithms, like Diffie-Hellman and things like that. Expanding your security options. Now, why is ECDSA interesting? Most certificates are issued with RSA. However, the current trend is to use increasingly longer keys for security reasons. Unfortunately, RSA keys result in the longer your RSA keys are, the more of a decrease your performance application will have. It takes longer. This is where ECDSA comes in. This algorithm allows for you to achieve the same level of security with much shorter keys, thus ensuring optimal performance of your client-server communication. And preparing for the future. With the increase of the internet traffic and a growing demand for longer keys, ECDSA is set to gradually replace RSA. By implementing ECDSA support in R4 now, you are guaranteed to stay in the forefront of security and performance. Now, do you remember our last webinar? I introduced some commands that related in 40net kit related to Gmail. Gmail integrations with 40 applications, like extracting emails, deleting emails, retrieval of labels. And I said the adventure wasn't stopped there. Stay tuned. Well, with 20R4, we're enhancing the Gmail command set with two powerful extensions. The simultaneous retrieval of multiple emails. So in a single command, you can have a really optimized way of getting multiple emails, and the efficient management of Gmail labels. So you can streamline your inbox organization by creating, deleting, and updating Gmail labels directly from your 40 applications. Now, these improvements will enable you to interact more efficiently with Gmail and with Gmail inside your 40 application. And to see more and have a playwork, and to see more about this and to play with a great demo, I invite you to read up on the blog, as there's a great how do I that explains this. So that was a ton of things. Not sure if anything came up. Let me have a look. So someone asked, can any of the custom formatting or the patterns be used with a timestamp, a datetime string?
So the datetime of the timestamp command return a datetime in string. So you cannot apply this pattern directly because, as you can see, the command that we were using is actually doing conversion from a date value to a string or a time value to a string. You can, however, if you need it, you could probably extract those into individual values and then apply it afterwards. There is a tech tip, I think, written recently on how to get individual value out of a datetime. Sorry, not datetime, but the timestamp value. So yeah, there'll be a two-step process that you have to do, but you cannot do it directly.
And someone asked, I think someone asked a question, are these supported? Datetime format syntax.
Right. So having a look at the link that you sent it, compare with ours, there are some that are not supported. It could be added later, but the majority of those patterns are already supported. If you look at the documentation, you'll see the majority of them are already listed there. One of them, I think, that's not in there is a W month, week of month or something like that. But yeah, the large majority of the patterns already have been included in the feature.
Yeah. And I guess speaking of which, yeah, I only gave a very simple, I only gave a minor subset of the actual abilities of that command. I should have said that at first. There are a ton of patterns for you to be able to choose from. And if we're missing one that you need, by all means, I recommend putting it in the feature request form, and we can see how we can get that in there. Feature request form is is the location where the development team gets their backlog, most of their backlog now. So we listen, vote, write your features up there and vote for the ones you really want, and they make it to the top of the list, and those get put in there. Okay, cool. All right. Well, if anything else comes up, great questions. Thank you. At least I know my mic was on. Cool. So let's go to, if anything comes up, if anything comes up, feel free to write the question in the Q&A and we'll get to it. But let's keep moving on to 40 Write Pro. There's a couple things that happen in 40 Write Pro. There's a lot happening in 20R5 and 40 Write Pro, but some main ones. I don't know if this one pertains to any of us, but it definitely is a major improvement and a major requirement in Europe. So, and that's called e-invoicing. So electronic B2B invoicing will become mandatory in France and other countries in the coming years. Now, this change poses a challenge for many businesses. Fortunately, 40 is here to assist you smoothly through this digital transformation. Now, again, if this concerns you, if they are asking about e-invoicing, if your customers are asking and requiring e-invoicing, feel free to open up the blog post about this. And as there's a how do I that explains how to do e-invoicing from 4D. It's a mixing of XML, PDF to make your e-invoice. Okay. And in 20R3, I talked about the PDF format PDF A2. Well, now we're going to hear talk about PDF A3. Now, PDF A2 is an archival format for PDF that certain countries require. It's a small core subset of the PDF commands, pretty much a self-contained PDF for archival purposes. For example, you can't have links to other documents. Everything needs to be contained within itself for archival purposes. This could be for auditing purposes and things like that, for long-term storage of documents. So, and now with 40 Write Pro with 20R4, you can now add attachments to your PDF documents, your 40 Write Pro documents, your PDFs. generated from 40 Repro documents, and that's using the PDF A3 command, A3 format. So, and we've done this, and we made this as simple as creating a collection of file objects and running the 40 export document command, those file objects. Of course, as with anything in computers, there's some caveats, and there's a lot of things that you can manage and take, and we provided you a lot of flexibility with this command. So if you are interested and if your clients are asking for PDF A3, 40 supports it, and there's a great how do I on the blog that shows you how it all works together. So that was short and sweet, but some major changes in 40 Write Pro with the exporting of and creation of certain types of PDF documents. Someone asks, if URL links are embedded in the Write Pro document, will they be maintained in the PDF file? I guess a URL link to go to a website? I don't.
Very good question, which I do not have a concrete answer to that. We'll have to get back to you shortly.
Yeah. Is this something that your clients are asking for?
Okay, quick answer. Just do a quick test. It does. So if you have a URL within your 40 Write document and then you convert it into PDF, the link is clickable in your PDF document.
But is it needed for PDF A2 and A3? I know you did that before for normal PDF documents add. We've done that before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So thank you for the question. If anything comes up, feel free. Next, we're going to keep barreling along. Next is 40 View Pro. I may say Write Pro, but I mean to say View Pro from now on. So displaying, editing, and debugging long and complex formulas can sometimes, quick back. 40 View Pro is built on using a very complex, robust, and industry standard JavaScript library called Spread.js. Now, Spread.js is a library that we integrate into 4D, and that's how we have 40. That's how we have all of the features in 40 View Pro. 40 View. So another company manages that, and then we integrate with them. So we are, and every so often we update the version of Spread.js. And in 20R4, we've updated the version to 16.2 of Spread.js. And with that comes a slew of optimizations, improvements, and new features. And I'm going to quickly go over some of the new features that have been implemented out of the box, or we've integrated with them inside 4D. So now we have what we call Formula Editor Panel. Now let's take a look at this following example. A1 has a display of value. So let's take a look at this. We want to display a value in cell B2 based on the value in A1. To do this, we use an if formula. Now in this simple case, so we have A, B, C, D, right? F. So in the simple case, the formula remains understandable, right? A bunch of if statements. However, as if formulas accumulate, it becomes more difficult to see when which conditions are applied and when. And to help with this, we've added the Formula Editor panel, which you see right here. So this new component offers the following features. Improved formatting. You can now toggle the formula sections, assisted input, tooltips, error detection, and live testing. You can see here we're testing it live. That's super cool. There have also been a bunch of changes to pivot tables and many enhancements to pivot tables. Previously, especially with the subtables in pivot tables. So previously, you had to change the position of the subtable at the bottom of each field. Now you can change the position for the individual fields. So we have the design, we have the subtables. So now we can have now we have a lot more flexibility on where and how we can put the subtables. Subtotals. Subtables, don't even think about. Okay. That's very cool. And while we're on the subject of calculation, 40View Pro now supports manual calculation. So what is this? Manual calculation. When you have a formula like a sum command, it'll just if you change a field that's being sum, if you change the number, for example, let me just quickly go here. So here we have a sum command. We have a sum of those populations of those countries. Now, what you can do is you can set it to either automatic or manual calculations. So what does that mean? So that means that if it's being manually updated, it means that it won't update every time you make a change in the cell. So if you have really complicated logic in your cells, you cannot it won't automatically dynamically update the cells every single time, thus making your application slower. So, and also we've added support for the ability to reference to do cross sheet referencing by clicking through the sheet, similar to what you see in Excel right here. So here from sheet 3, you can now have Germany, the name Germany. And just a quick point about the automatic cell stuff. All cells are calculated automatically if the relevant cells have been changed, right? So it's automatically. When cells are calculating manually, only cells that have been changed directly are calculated. Cells that refer to changed cells are not calculated. So pretty much what I said. Just wanted to make sure that that was clear. And finally, there have been some designer enhancements as well. So we've added themes, colors, and font buttons to the designer that allow you to change themes or colors to affect all shapes, charts, and built-in cell styles that reference those color themes. So now with the click of the button, you can change the look and feel of your chart and your data in your 40View Pro document. So you can have the right document as easily as you want. Once you get this, you can then export it into either Excel or any other types of formats that we support, and then you're able to go from there. And there have been a lot of other workbook enhancements. So now you can say whether or not you display a 0. So there's now a command that you can toggle, something that you can toggle in your 40View Pro document to display zeros in the cells. So sometimes people don't want to see zeros. So you can do that. You can now password protect your worksheets. So you can set a specific password. You can set a specific password for sheets or the entire workbook, matching Excel's functionality as well. Now we've added the property to allow you to set a cell's default value as well. You can set any value or formula as the default value of the cell. And you can now insert, copy, or cut cells outside of a table range. Oh, so inserting, copy, or cut cells outside of a table range is already supported. And this, in 20R4, you can now copy and cut cells to be inserted into tables. So as you can see, from version to version, Spread.js team continues to find small but impactful ways to make 40View Pro even better and more user-friendly. And we can see from our conversations and the numbers of people that have adopted 40View Pro, the end users are really enjoying these features, and it's a really great thing to see. So now onto Qodly Studio for 4D. So Qodly's journey continues with R4. And although we're currently still in the developer preview phase, every partner has already had the opportunity to open up for Qodly Studio for 4D and test the new features. So, and your feedback is incredibly valuable and is eagerly awaited by the team. And from what we've received thus far, it's incredibly positive. So, and here are some improvements that are being made to R4. Not only are we working on the platform stability, all of everything that's there, we're adding new features all the time. So Qodly Studio now supports 40's Variadic functions. You can specify as many parameters as you need in the case of a Variadic function. And you're thinking, what's a Variadic function? Well, a Variadic function was introduced in 4D itself in 20R3, and this allows for 40 methods to be created with an undefined number of parameters in the method signature with the ... the ellipsis. The input text component has also been improved. Entering multi-line text, inputting durations, and read-only mode is now possible. And UI interface has been greatly improved as well. Maps visualization in the event editor has been streamlined. Ability to clean up unused CSS classes, namespaces, and data sources on a page are right there. And preview mode for tabs, which is similar to VS Code. When you click on a file, it opens in the preview tab. And this has now been implemented in Qodly. So that's amazing. So it's a major undertaking. There are many developers working on it, and we are looking forward to get out of beta very soon. So we're all looking forward to that. So, and if you're a partner, I invite you to launch it up and see what you think. There's a lot of blog posts that are being done. There are a lot of there's some training on the on-demand training by JPR. I can show you how to use it and what the product is. So if you liked the content that I showed you here, whenever there's a new release, the team, we scour we review the blog, and all of the content here starts with our investigations and starts with the blog post. The blog post, what it is it's a place for the product team to show off a new feature, often providing a how do I, explaining the feature, explaining exactly what and why the feature is there, giving the use case for a developer or an end user. So it's a great place to start. Often takes you gives you a great overview of why 4D has added that. So I invite you all. And so the blog is a great place for information, and the blog has become an incredibly popular resource for our 4D customers. But with so many posts, it became difficult to find what you were looking for. So 4D, we added a new piece of the blog, and that's categories. So now we're breaking everything up into categories in the blog, and you can search based on the categories. So if you have a 4D Write Pro question, or if you remember there's a blog post about 4D Write Pro, you click on 4D Write Pro, and then you're able to from the category section, you're able to look at all the blog posts. Sometimes you don't remember what it was. So that's a really great way, streamlined way to support you and to help you get the information that you need more quickly. And on-demand training has been a major undertaking for the technical teams at 4D since COVID. We saw with the great success of our digital world tours, that the training was needed, and we all learned how to become online trainers, give webinars, do things like that during COVID. And now we're aggregating all of those trainings and putting them on in the 4D store in the on-demand training tab. So, and we realized because you, the developers, need the ability to train on your own time from the comfort of your own home. So I invite you all to have a look at the store for some of these amazing trainings, like the advanced order training done by Olivier, take care of the query. And also, we put the master classes from the 2023 summit up there as well recently. So if you weren't able to make it to the summer last year, you can still join in on the fun. And I want to say thank you all for joining me today. It's always a good time to spend. It always helps me knowing all of the things that are all the goings on at 4D. There's so much stuff happening all the time. 4D is always in development. There are always new changes. There's always things to learn. So this is a great time for me and Ad myself to review all of the changes in 4D and to kind of take time and to have a look and to review them with you, the developer. So I appreciate you coming today, and we'll see you in about 3 months with 20R5. And 20R5 is a major release. There's going to be a lot to talk about, and it's going to be, you can even have a look right now on the blog to see exactly all of the stuff that's going to be talked about then, but it's going to be a very big one, and we look really forward to seeing you in about 3 months. Thank you all, and have a great rest of your day wherever you are.